Hello, hello, and welcome back to the More Than Mindset Show. I am your host, Kim Guillory. So I am just returning from Florida. I am back in Louisiana, which feels kind of crazy because I now realize that it has been a year. And that's what I'm going to talk to you about today. A year ago, it's funny how time passes and you don't really notice, right? But when I looked at the date of my return trip, it's exactly 1 year from when I left. I was like, you can't make this stuff up. But I missed one thing, and that's what I'm going to talk to you about today to make sure you don't miss this one thing. So, whenever I first decided I wanted to do this, I wanted to go and try, get the apartment, see how it was going to work. I want you to recognize some of the words that I'm using. So, take note. I was just like wanting to experience it and see if it was going to be better or if it was going to offer more opportunity. I was taking a chance. Like I was felt like I needed to do something new, a little daring and courageous and definitely different. And I wasn't quite sure exactly what to expect. Somehow my mind had made up this story that it was not going to change at all because I had been going to Miami so often and staying there sometimes up to 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks. And I was going at least once a month, sometimes 3 times a month. And so to me, it was just like, oh, I'm just going to have my own place to stay, but I'm still going to spend a lot of time at home. Well, that's not what happened at all. I got there. And if you go back and listen to the episode a year ago, you'll probably hear when I kind of had a meltdown the first night when I got to the apartment. It was very late and I had nothing. It was just mattresses and furniture. And I just kind of had a meltdown. I had to confront the decisions that I had made. I needed some support. I needed a lot of support. What I really wanted to do was get 2 bottles of wine, sit on the floor, and cry looking at the beautiful view. I was felt very much in defeat, and I was anxious. I stayed anxious for quite a few weeks, matter of fact. So, listen. Here's the I'm going to give you my takeaway, and then I'm going to wrap it up. I'm going to take you into the story. This is going to be a quick one today. When I got the apartment. It was kind of on a whim. I was talking to a friend. I was asking, like, where did she get hers? Turns out she was a real estate agent. She found this place. She sent it. She kind of put a little bit of urgency on it. I made a decision in the moment after I talked to my husband and kids and just did it. What I didn't expect, I only came home, I think, 3 times. Thanksgiving. No, I didn't even come home for Thanksgiving. I came home for Christmas and maybe another holiday. And I only came back for a few days and turned around and drove right back. And that just really surprised me, guys. I couldn't have predicted this, which is going to take you to the point. What I had done is just threw out the net and just saw what I could scoop up. So I was basically, if I was fishing, I just threw out a net to just see what would happen. I was figuring it out. I was trying, I was thinking, I was sorting through, I was taking a chance. But what I wasn't doing was predicting, planning, predicting. I was taking a chance. I did something courageous. I tried it. Worst case scenario, I would have failed and lost the money. Maybe I would have lost my family and people from home. I don't know. That's the worst case scenario, right? So I want you to think about yourself when you're starting this business or you're trying to grow this business. And you're just like, I just have to try. And you just throw something out there. And you're like, worst case scenario, I'll fail. No big deal. I'll just pick up the pieces. Right? Can you relate to what I'm saying? This is so important. There's another way to do it. And that's really what I want to talk to you about today. You could keep winging it, figuring it out, trying to decide, waiting, sorting through, throwing out a few things, see if you get a nibble, or you can just decide. You can just decide and you can predict what you want it to turn out to be. I know it sounds like fantasy. And I didn't even realize that I had done this to myself until it was all over. It was a fantasy. It was a dreamlike state. It wasn't a reality. It was just a risk without a specific plan and outcome. I have done this before in business. I talked about when I cleaned off the wall and there was no more stickies on it. So I didn't really have a plan. I was just, because I had reached my goal. So I was just like, oh, well, I'm not sure what's next. Let's just wait and see. Keywords, guys, you got to write these words down. How often do you say wait, think, figuring, sorting through, got to get this thing worked out first? How often do you say those kinds of words? Because I just did this to myself. The other side of that is I decide and I do. So I could have had a very different outcome, but because I wasn't specific and because I didn't plan specifically, because I wasn't specific. Let me give you an example. Specific would look like $100,000 this year. It is very specific compared to, well, I'm just going to try and see, and hopefully I make a little bit of money back. And if I'm lucky, I'll get my investment back. Can you feel the difference between those two? $100,000. I'm going to just try a bunch of stuff and just see what happens. They feel very, very different. Now, I wouldn't want to risk it and do it in my business, right? But I did kind of do it with this. Now, the reason that I did this is I was in some programs, I was doing some leadership training, I was learning like communication, leadership, team building, operations. That's what I threw myself into this year. And so I needed to be closer to the source where I could get more of that and really take a deep dive into study. I just didn't think about what was going to happen at the end of the year because I was so busy thinking about what I was thinking about. Okay. So if I would have had the target, the very clear target, then I would have had very specific action plans. But I didn't. I had the target of, I hope I make it. I hope I don't screw things up. I hope I'm not making a mistake. I don't have a plan, but I'm just going to try this and see what happens. How many of you are doing this? You're throwing something out there and you're just going to see what happens, but you don't really know what you're going for. It's almost as if the target is elusive. The target is just kind of blurry. It's not specific. It's just, I hope I survive. I hope I make it. I hope I don't go broke. This blew my mind when I realized it. And so let's talk about planning. What does planning look like? What does predicting look like? And then compared to that, what does trying and thinking and sorting things out, trying to decide, figuring it out? Let's make a list of both of those. So I want you to list what does planning and predicting look like, and then what does waiting and trying and figuring it out look like? And just write down like the characteristics of those two and see if you could identify what you are doing. And then I want to give you a plan. I want to give you a roadmap so that you can actually begin to predict the outcome. Now, I hesitate to say this. And the reason is I've gotten somewhat of an attack around it, as if like, oh, you can't just like say it and it's just going to happen. Like, yes, you can. Who says you can't? You for sure can. There's a process to doing it. I just did something this past week that was impossible. It was impossible from like on the average standpoint. No one does this. No one does this. Matter of fact, it takes most people 3 to 5 years on average to do two very big things that I did. And, I was kind of beating myself up that it wasn't going fast enough. It wasn't going fast enough because I was taking right under between 5 and 6 months. to finish it. And I finished. But I was talking to a friend last night and she said, look, we got to put this into perspective. Most people haven't finished it in 2 years, 3 years, up to 5 years. And you made the decision and you did it and you fought for it. And you did it. You fought for it and you did it. I watched you. And I realized it's kind of like the gap in the gain, right? I wasn't giving myself credit for what I had done. I didn't recognize what I had achieved because I was so busy putting myself down. I was so busy not being good enough, not being fast enough. And I just want to tell you that the reason that that happens is because it's not planned for. It's not predicted. It's not like believed in. If you really believed in it, you would go and do it. But because we're in this information overload age, we're very distracted. And we're also afraid to take a stand for what we believe and make big claims because we're ridiculed for it. Not to mention our past and being picked on in school and when we were younger, or just the environment that you're in, the people you live around that don't want to believe big things. Like it's like emotionally uncomfortable to succeed. I feel like I'm all over the place for this one, so I hope it makes sense. My point is I want to get more of you planning and predicting. Planning and predicting. What does planning and predicting look like? It looks like setting a target that you truly desire, that you'll be personally impacted by, that you're willing to take the action until you achieve it. That's what it looks like. And because I had this elusive year where I was just kind of out there, I didn't know what to expect. I just kind of threw myself into some new stuff. And I didn't do everything that I wanted to do this year, but I guarantee you, I got through the most important things that changed me as a person, that's going to continue to create change now and in my future. And if I would have planned it very specific, looking back, I couldn't look it back because there was information I didn't know. There was like, I would have never thought that I even achieved the things I achieved because I didn't even know about them. But if I were to do it again and it was a year ago right now, I would know exactly how many events I was going to offer, how many clients I was going to serve, how many masterminds I was going to do, and how far I was going to get in this program. I would have just ahead of time decided. And then I would have reverse engineered and I would have known exactly how many hours to put in every week. And I would have just gone and done it. But for the record, I wasted at least 4 months of my year in indecision, in not knowing and not being certain. And maybe that was the whole point of the year, right? Maybe that was the best thing that could have happened, because now that I've actually achieved more than I ever thought possible, maybe now I actually believe that I can set a big target and I can predict and make possible whatever I want. Predict and make possible whatever I want. Because of the tools and the resources and the understanding that I picked up in this year, I won't make that mistake again. So if you are floundering, if you are thinking and deciding and you're not sure and you're afraid to dream too big, just know that that is sucking so much energy and time away from what you could actually be creating. So on my way home, I called the team and I was just like, our targets are too small. Our game is not big enough. We have to go bigger. We have to go bigger because I just got out of a game that I never even imagined I would have the experience that I had. And I realized at the end of it, when we beat the buzzer, when we made it happen, I realized how much I missed being in the game. So I want to encourage you who maybe has had a little bit of defeat. Maybe you haven't done the things you want to do. Maybe competition has been too hard in your industry. Maybe you haven't had the support. Maybe you haven't had the people who believe in you or the team to help you do it, because that was me. I want to encourage you. Reach out to me. Just tell me what it is. What is the dream? And just tell it to someone. Comment on my social media if you see it. Send a direct email, text me, whatever you need to do. Come to our free group and let us all know. Someone will go to bat for you. That's what I realized this past week. I had a team that completely supported and pushed me because they believed I could do it. They believed in me. I wasn't fully sold. But then when I saw that the belief was held by others and how strong it was, it allowed me to push to the end, just seeing it, witnessing it. And I'm just going to ask you, have you ever had a team behind you, cheering you on, holding your vision? Have you ever had that? I had never had that. It is the most delicious experience. You know what the cool part was? They won when I won. It wasn't about me. It was about the game. It was about the impact. It was about the change that we were all able to experience. Wow, it's incredible. So if you haven't set a target, if you don't have a plan and a prediction, if you can't see where you're going to be lost in the fog. And it just doesn't feel good. It's not motivating. It's not even penetrating, right? You can't even feel it because it's just like non-risky. But when you say, I'm going to do this thing, I'm going to finish this thing, I'm going to make this happen, when you say that with certainty and conviction, you tell someone else, which is one of the hardest things for us to do. Tell someone else and allow them to support you. And then you just move towards it. It's the most delicious thing. So look out. We are coming. Our game is bigger. Our tools are bigger. We are better equipped, more qualified, more competent, and more driven than ever. So if you are sitting on the sidelines, licking your wounds about what didn't work out, you're kind of holding a little failed purpose. Yeah, I'm bored. Keyword, bored. When someone says bored, red flags go up. My first question is, what are you avoiding? So that's what I have for you this week is maybe it's a little bit of nothing. Maybe it's something that spoke to you. I would love to hear from you. If you want the worksheet to go along with this, and you want to know how to plan and predict, then just fill out the form and we will get it to you. And I also want to invite you. So we do I do a coaching calls, and I want to invite you to come and be my guest. So if you send me an email that says guest, I'll send you a link to join one of my coaching calls, and we'll do some hot seat coaching, and we'll find this dreamer that used to be inside of you, and we will reactivate the dream. And then you'll be able to tell it to us, and we'll hold it for you, and we'll cheer for you, and we'll be your team, and we'll help you. We'll help and support you as you go and get it, go and make it happen. We'll help you plan for it. We'll help you predict it, and then you'll get to experience it. It's going to be the best thing ever. All right. If you enjoyed the podcast, please rate and review. It helps us reach more people. If you want to share it on social media, tag me. I'll be happy to support the post. And if you just want to tell me what your dream is, send me an email. That's a lot of call to actions, right? Just whichever one feels right for you. Just follow along, share, reach out, stay connected, come to the free group, download the PDF, and I'll go and create something for you for next week.
Thanks for listening to this episode of More Than Mindset.